Hey y'all, it's the Blessed Hot Mess, Tess Warren, and you're watching the Fans View podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. If you followed this show for any amount of time, you know me personally, you know this is a big one for me. We're joined by one of the most exciting rising names on the independent circuit, specifically in the Southeast. She was trained by industry veterans. She's building momentum all over the Southeast, and she's bringing intensity and a certain messy chaos to every ring she steps in. Tess Warren joins us tonight. Tess, how are we doing?
I am blessed. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I love it. Hey, I've got you on the other side of the camera. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. We're so excited to have you. You started just a couple years ago, but it feels like it's been just a whirlwind since day one. Let's go back to, when did the wrestling bug bite you? Were you kind of a lifelong fan, or is it something you found later in life?
So I'm actually not even a couple years. I'm a year and a half, but well, I'll take it. I fell into wrestling. I transferred schools in elementary school, and I knew a few people at the new school I was at, but I didn't know anyone like in my actual class.
Mm-hmm.
And I made friends with a few girls, and all of them watched wrestling with their dad, and that was just not something that I had growing up. My dad, like, I'm sure he watched it when he was little, but it was not something that was played in my house up until I
Right.
found it in elementary school. So yeah, I made friends with them, and I needed friends, obviously. So wrestling was what we all liked and got into, and they kind of grew out of it, but I never did.
I love that. When did you kind of decide, like, all right, it's a fun hobby, but like, this is something I want to do. I want to get in the ring. I don't just want to watch it anymore.
I think wrestling for me, as soon as I was like fully into it, and like that was like the number one thing that I was into, it always felt more like a part of me than something I was a fan of. And so I always just kind of thought eventually that's what I would do. It never felt like something that was that impossible to me. I had a lot of people, my family was not, they were very much like, you could never do that. Absolutely not. A moment I remember specifically was I was actually at a college preparatory school in high school, and in sophomore year you have like a meeting to decide, like, what colleges you want to apply to and what do you want to do. And at that point I sat down with my counselor and I said, yeah, I'm not going to college. I actually want to wrestle. I knew if I never went for it, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
It's funny because I follow you on Instagram, and I saw somebody comment, that they're proud of you because it's crazy watching how you talked about growing up, how you talked about you were going to be a professional wrestler,
Yeah.
and now here we are, 2026.
Yeah.
You're knee deep in the business.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, for those that don't know, you trained at, what is it, Jacob's Prichard Wrestling Academy?
Prichard Wrestling Academy, which unfortunately is no longer taking classes right now. So one of the last few classes, at least the last year that he ran. But yeah, Dr. Tom,
Heck
it
yeah.
was the biggest honor of my life to train under him. Every word he says was Bible to me, and I don't think there's a day that goes by I don't think about something Dr. Tom told me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was what I was going to ask you. Obviously, being in the Southeast, he was running one of the bigger, more desired schools, I guess is what you would say. How did you kind of end up there as opposed to like down in Atlanta at the Nightmare Factory or something like that? How'd you end up with Dr. Tom?
Well, I honestly didn't know about the indie wrestling scene growing up at all. And I had a friend get into it, and I went and saw her at WrestleCade a few times, and I just made kind of some friends and networked without knowing I was really networking myself. And when it came time to really think about, okay, I'm going to do this, I had a lot of recommendations from people, and ultimately I wanted to go somewhere that even if it didn't work out, it was just an honor to do it. And
Right.
Dr. Tom was the best possible choice. I had heard about his school, obviously, from other people. AJ Kazana actually was the one that first told me about Dr. Tom's school. I was just like, I need to go to the best school, so obviously I need to move all the way to Tennessee. And that was what I did, to go train with Dr. Tom.
As one does, just perfectly normal behavior. I love it.
If I'm gonna go for something, I'm definitely gonna go all the way.
Yes, you know what? I have learned that in the short period of time that I've known you, I have quickly learned that about you. It's either balls to the wall or it's not at all,
Yep.
which I respect it. How did Dr. Tom shape you as a performer? Obviously, we know him from having a very long career in the WWF and WWE. He's been all over the world. He is just one of the best trainers possible. What was it like training under someone with so much knowledge?
Well, I think I knew that I was experiencing something really, really special. One of my favorite things Dr. Tom ever told me about, to me specifically, was that I have no choice but to be myself. I truly like to believe that he didn't mean that negatively. I think he meant that honestly. And really, what Dr. Tom did for me, like outside of wrestling, was the more that I develop my character, the more that I wrestle, I find that I go back to so many parts of myself that I maybe suppressed after high school, when I did go to college for a little bit. And yeah, a lot of the stuff that I thought maybe was too much, Dr. Tom was like, go harder. Everything about me as a wrestler was shaped by Dr. Tom. Anything anybody else tells me, I always will circle back to what Dr. Tom has said. He's just the Bible of
I
wrestling.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, if you're gonna admire someone like that, Dr. Tom is probably the man to admire. And that's it's funny you say that because obviously a lot of veterans in the wrestling business say the best characters come from when you take yourself, you turn it up to 100, and that's what you give the people. And
Yep.
that seems like you are turned up to 100 at
Yeah.
all times.
Yeah.
And that kind of pivots to my next question for you is obviously you are known all over the place as the blessed hot mess. How much of that is the real Tess Warren, and how much of that do you really have to amp up for the crowd?
To scare everyone out there, it is 100% me. Heel or face, I find that I have multiple facets of my personality, and the Blessed Hot Mess can go either way. I am a messy Southern girl. I was raised in the creek and in the canals in Wilmington. I love the water, the coast, you know what I mean? Like, I am me. I come from pirate country. It's just finding those parts of me that are special and blowing them up for everyone.
Yeah, that is perfect encapsulation right there.
Thank you.
Couldn't have answered that better. As we talk about your training just a little bit more, what's something maybe people underestimate that they don't even realize about how difficult training is when you're first trying to break into the business?
Honestly, I refuse to quit. I think this might be dumb, but like an unexpected thing that I think like the average person wouldn't expect is the ropes. Like
No, no, it's not.
found I found that all of the stuff that I thought was going to be the worst, all of my bruises the first couple weeks came from the ropes. So that might not be like a deep answer, but that is my answer.
No, that is a perfect answer. That's absolutely to a T what people don't understand. They all think, the bumps and the body slams and all that hurt. Like, no, those ropes suck. And you
Yeah.
have
I
to,
love that. They build a man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to callous your body to them, though. If
Yeah.
you're not, you got to be built for this. You've competed across Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, now Georgia. I was lucky enough to be there for your debut. How important has it been for you to bounce around and not just get comfortable in one place, as far as your growth as a pro wrestler? Like you said, you've only been in the business, a little over a year now.
Yeah, that is the ultimate most important thing to me. I cannot get complacent in one area, and ultimately, I love to meet new people and go new places. I'm sure we'll get into my overseas travel, but that was ultimately what
Yeah.
it came to. Was I was honestly, with how early I was, I don't want to say I was stuck, but I definitely was in a place where I was like, okay, I need to not get out of here, but I need to go off and do something completely different, and I feel that it's very important to bounce around, and I look forward to traveling. That's like traveling is my ultimate goal.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, you teed it up perfectly. We were going to get to it a little bit later, but let's talk about it now. Recently, over the summer, you actually went across the pond and you really got away from Tennessee and the Southeast. You went over to the UK. How did that opportunity come about, and what was that like as a new performer?
This is the hardest thing for me to talk about, gathering my thoughts about it, because it's the ultimate experience of my life, and the most rewarding thing. It came about, I was extremely, extremely lucky because 5 people from the UK came over to train with Dr. Tom. They had previously trained like a year before, I believe. And they were coming back for round two, and they came over while I was in my beginners class. And we didn't really have that many people that were already wrestlers around. I'm like, Kinsey Page came in, that was great. And we had a few other people come in, but when they came in, I knew I was gonna have my first match against the girl Ruby, and it was Ruby Manitoba, Rhiannon Jade, Toby St. John, Jordan Sparks, the Blockbusters, the best tag team in the world, and Carl Parker, the Sexy Cowboy. Dr. Tom trained me, but in terms of who was in the ring with me and who really helped me develop my moveset and gave me my confidence, and I did my first ride-alongs with was that group of British people. And when they left, it was just like devastating to me. Like, I dropped him off at the airport. I was devastated. And it was really like I knew I wanted to go over there, and if not to wrestle, just to see them, because they had made such a big impact on my life. And yeah, so I just got lucky, and over the summer I got to a point. I was on a FaceTime call with Ruby, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And she was like, why don't you just come here? And so I got a one-way ticket, and I had one show booked that I knew I was going to get to wrestle over there. And then I got over there, and within the first week I got put on a show, and I ended up working, I believe, like 9 or 10 shows. And yeah, luck and blessings, that's how I made it to the UK. And I just put myself out there.
Love that. I love that story. You told me that story, this past weekend. I had to hear it again, because that's just friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say, working over there in the UK and working, say, in North Carolina, what do you think is the biggest difference in the crowds, if you noticed one?
Ooh, that's like maybe my favorite question. I love the American bar crowds. Like, I'm a rowdy girl. I love how loud everyone is, but I find in the UK that, like, they're a little less rowdy, of course. My favorite thing about a UK crowd is that they really get into like clapping when they make their entrance, and that's something I really want to like work in eventually. But that was like one of my favorite things. The crowds, I think, were more willing to pop for just really good basic shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can do the extreme shit, but I think that the crowds were gonna pop for like the really good basic shit. And I really liked that. And I thought with it, when the crowd really got behind something, it just meant more, because you
Right.
really had to work for it. And me being as loud as I am, they weren't really as used to that. So I think they were really excited to get behind like my energy, not meant
Yeah.
a lot.
Just an absolute psychopath from the US. I got it.
Controlled chaos,
Yeah. I'm with it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing, like when you read your cage match, listing, it is championship match, championship match, championship match, which is crazy for someone that's so young in the business. But obviously, I'm not the only one that sees something in you. When you're competing for titles, whether it's win or lose, and I know you actually did just win a title the other day in Charlotte. Look at that beautiful piece of hardware there.
World Wrestling Women's Champion, baby.
Suck it, Brittany Jade.
I suck it, Brittany Jade, and I mean that with my full chest.
I love you. Don't ever change. When these title opportunities, come about, win or lose, does it kind of change how you approach the match, or how you prepare, or is it just you're locked in no matter what?
I'd say I'm pretty locked in. I think that it's not lost on me how much of a blessing it is to get those opportunities. Wrestling Kenzie Page for her NWA Women's Championship, the Burke, is probably the biggest moment in my wrestling career. And that moment meant a lot to me. The moment means more to me than the win in those situations, just because I am so blessed to have it.
Absolutely.
But I would say I'm just locked in. I want to put on a good match, and I think that there is more pressure for a championship match to have something really interesting and really, put your all into it.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons. And the Fans View podcast, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. We've talked about you, the performer. Let's talk about Tess, the fangirl, because again, we talked the other day, and when we bring up this name, your face just lights up. That is WWE Superstar Sheamus. What is it about Sheamus as a performer that you just connect with?
Gravitated towards Sheamus. There are so many people I was like obsessed with growing up, but consistently it was Sheamus. I dressed up as him for Halloween. I think like you've called me aggressive before, and maybe it's just his raw aggression. And I think his mentality with his character is similar to mine
Mm-hmm.
because I'm there to fight. Like anyone, anytime, I'm there to fight, and I'm gonna have a big ass smile on my face while I'm doing it. It's all for the love of the game and the love of shoving my boot in people's face. So I think I've just really resonated with Sheamus for a long time, because he's
Yes.
angry, but like he's smiling, and that's that's what I'm about.
You know, I just realized that as you said that, like you are the walking, talking epitome of like talk shit, get hit. That
Yeah,
is you, like as a human being, and I love that about you.
yeah,
You kind of touched on this. Has watching Sheamus influenced your style or even your mindset in the ring?
yeah. Just pure aggression, and wanting to hit hard. This doesn't really have anything to do with the question, but I will say that every single day, this is the most fangirl thing about me right now.
I love it.
Every single day that I went into Dr. Tom's school, I fully was expecting Seamus to be there just out of pure hope and manifesting. Just because it's just the aggression for me. Like, no one, I mean, I've got a lot of favorite wrestlers, but like, Seamus, every time anyone asks me, will be my answer. And I also think it's a pretty good answer.
Yeah. Hey, multi-time Grand Slam champion. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at it.
Underrated, honestly. Underrated, and I don't ever really hear anyone give that answer, but it's my truth.
Listen, you are unique in every other way. I would be disappointed if your answer wasn't someone like Sheamus.
Also, would like to add, just while we're on the topic of my favorite wrestlers, that something
Mhm.
you might not expect is my favorite wrestler, like other than Sheamus growing up, was Daniel Bryan. Like pre yet, I have a dog named Daniel Bryan. He's a Yorkie. He's over there. I'm not gonna get up. He's 13 years old, and his name is
Damn.
Daniel Bryan because he was named Daniel Bryan before the Yes Movement. Like literally, like when everyone hated him, and I was like, I'm naming my dog after him. So, uh, Sheamus and Daniel Bryan was like when I was little. That was like my answer was Daniel. I was obsessed with
Love
Daniel.
that. I love
Yeah,
that.
big crush on him too.
As one does. He's a nice looking
Sheamus, of
man.
course.
Hey, if you're into the pale skin, God bless.
Something about him. Yeah.
I want to pivot over to social media and branding, something that I think you do quite well. Like you said, you are the blessed hot mess. You know, everybody knows you as such, and everyone expects that when they see you. How important has social media been as you start in this business and you build that brand and connect with those fans? How important is social media?
It's very important, and I appreciate the compliment because I do feel like I'm lacking in that area. I have a little bit of hesitancy towards social media just because it's hard to put yourself out there. I am very protective of myself, and I personally am pretty confident in myself and my personality, so I don't like to let anybody else mess that up. So social media is an ongoing struggle for me, but more and more challenges each day, and I will
Hey,
attack them. Yeah.
you're here. That's
I'm
hey,
here. I'm here. Me
mate.
doing a podcast is a big step, guys.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
What has been, and this is going to be a hard question, so don't feel bad if you don't have a one answer. What has been your most memorable match so far? Is there a match that really means something special to you?
So I spoke about my match with Kinsey for the NWA Women's Championship, and honestly, Kinsey Page as a whole just means a lot to me. So any
Mm-hmm.
match with her it's very important to me in my career, but specifically that one. But she in general is like you talk about matches, but just people that have been important in my career. Kinsey Page is probably number one. And other than that, definitely my match with Ruby Manitoba. It was Falls Count Anywhere, and it was my last match in the UK. And I did get to leave with a win, which was great, but she was my first opponent, and the match of me leaving the UK was almost a year to when I graduated and had my match against her. So it was just a very full circle moment, and to have it in the UK and to be leaving, it was bittersweet because I was really sad to be leaving, but it meant so much to to know, like, in that moment when I had won and I was in the ring and, like, doing my thing and, like, kissing the mat, whatever, I was just so reflective and proud of myself for how much I had done in the UK. That was just a really, really, really special moment for me that I was able to be present in and understand, like, how special it was for me.
Yeah, that's awesome because it's rare. It's hard to stop in those big moments and kind of actually enjoy it. And that's funny that you say Kenzie has been so important to you because obviously I've been a fan of you for a while from afar, but the first time I got to watch you work in person was actually this past WrestleCade where you wrestled, survey says, Kenzie Page.
Yes.
So that's a fun little full circle moment. And before we get off the topic of the UK, do we have any plans already in place to return?
Yes.
I I,
Yes.
I
I
figured.
will foam at the mouth thinking about it. I actually I'm in talks about it today, but my big goal actually is to go to Ireland. I know that it's still the UK, but I was able to spend 1 day in Ireland last time I was over there, and this next run I plan on spending multiple weeks in Ireland and training, and Sheamus country, baby, like.
Literally just about
So
saying hunting Sheamus. I
yeah.
got it. I'm with
I'm
you.
looking hopefully around August, September, so same time as last year. And my biggest goal right now in wrestling, but for the UK, is I really want to work the camp shows over there. I don't know if you're familiar with them. You need to be. I don't even know if you can find them on YouTube, but it's like a group of wrestlers and they go to the different resorts in the UK and they put on a show for like the people at the resorts. But it's kind of a daily grind, daily schedule. Daniel Bryan, I know, did a bunch of camp shows, and Harley Hudson in TNA has done a bunch, she does camp shows. And I think that they really build a great wrestler and they really teach you how to work the crowd. And my fondest memory, like when I close my eyes and I think I want to like have peace right now, would be me at a camp show after specifically Axel Turner just won and Rockin' Around the World by Status Quo is playing and I'm clapping with the British people and dancing. And my goal when I go back to the UK is to work the camp shows and have that atmosphere. It just has not, you can't match it. You can't match the atmosphere. Nothing compares to it in America.
I gotta tell your passion when you talk about the UK
Yeah.
is next level. I love you get
Yeah.
me excited. I'm not
Yeah.
going anywhere near the UK, but that is fantastic. Now I'm gonna hit you with the hard questions. Here's the hard ones.
Okay.
Where do you see Tess Warren in the next 2 to 3 years in wrestling? Do we have like some short-term goals that we'd like to check off the list and maybe a long-term goal, to work towards?
Well, my short-term goal is the camp shows right now. My goal
Okay.
is to travel. Nothing is set in stone. I have no, like, if I don't do this, then I'm gonna quit. If you know what I mean, like everything is very much like
Fluid, very fluid.
fluid. Yeah, I want to travel. I want to wrestle as much as I can in as many places as I can. Train wherever I can, and just do it. Just do it. You know what I mean? I don't have any sort of specific. I'd love to go to Japan. Maybe in the next after like 2 years. I want to be really prepared if I was able to do that. But yeah, next 2 to 3 years, spend more time in the UK, build my name up in America, and just build up momentum.
Yeah, you have got the right attitude. Trust me when I say you've got the right attitude to accomplish every single one of those goals. What is it right now? Because for people that don't know, this part of wrestling that you're in right now isn't fancy. You're driving town to town, you're grinding, it's hot dogs and a handshake sometimes. Like you're on your grind right now. It's not the glitz and the glamour just yet. What keeps you motivated for those 6 hour car drives, for those 10-minute matches to jump back in the car and drive 2 states away?
I mean, I said it earlier, but I think it is just like I will not quit.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like I genuinely love it, and I never knew this was something that was necessarily possible for me. I grew up and my dad traveled a lot for work, and he was always on the road. He's my best friend, and he's very much was a part of my life. But my family's always been big travelers, so to me, it just kind of feels like destiny in some way. I don't know. Like he's on the road, and I love to be on the road. I enjoy it. I love listening to music. I really have not struggled as much as a lot of people may with traveling and stuff like that. but I maybe I will in the future. You know what I mean? Starts. You know, they're talking about, you know, that people are asking me when I'm coming to like Northeast and stuff, and my brother's out in California, so I'd love to do some stuff over there. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the travel will get up to me eventually. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing okay.
Hey, you're a young lady. Log those miles while you can, because trust me, it only gets harder. For someone that maybe hasn't had the chance to see you yet, you know, God forbid, because trust me, guys, if she's in a town near you, go see Tess Warren. But someone that hasn't seen you yet, what would you tell them to expect the first time they watch you?
Expect the unexpected. Controlled chaos. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna hit the fuck out of my opponent. But at the end of the day, you know, I've got some cool technical shit. You know, I know my way around a little bit. And yeah, controlled chaos. I think that's a pretty good statement for me. You know.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Just out of your mind in the best way is
Yeah,
probably
I don't want to like label my wrestling style only because I do feel influenced by like multiple different people, and yeah, that's why I'm the blessed hot mess because all over the place, you know.
First of all, thank you so much for coming on. We got to hit you with the
Course.
last two questions that we hit everyone with. The first of which being, this is the Fans View podcast. Now, I know you're a big Yeezy kind of girl, but other than maybe Kanye and professional wrestling, what are you a fan of? What's Tess Warren doing in her rare days off?
I'm a big fan of the water. You can't see it behind me, but there is a beautiful creek behind me. That sounds bad, you know, river. But I love the water. I love to fish. I love to spend time with my family. But yeah, anything outdoors and with water involved, that's what I love to do with my time.
I love it. Country girl through and through. And last but not least, obviously you're a very young woman. You're young in this business. At this stage, not just of your career, but of life, like, how do you define success? What is success to you?
Success to me is I have this saying, and before I go into literally anything, like it could be a match, it could be training, it could be a drive, it could be a new show I'm excited to watch, like literally anything. My attitude towards that is always to put into the universe. I say, show me how good it gets. So success to me is however good it gets. You know, I just like to put into the universe that however good it can be, that's how good it's going to be, you know. And if you put that into the universe, then it's easy for me to believe that my success is, you know, I'm always having success because that's how good it got, you know.
I love it. I love it. That's a mic drop moment right there. Very well said. Well, Tess, where can people get a hold of you? Obviously, you said you're not the ace of social media like you'd like to be, but we're getting there. Where can people see you on social media?
I'm on Instagram at Tess Warren with 3 R's in Warren because it was taken with 2. And I'm on Facebook at Tess Warren. I do not have X or Twitter.
Love it. Love it. Guys, like I said, make sure if you're in a town where you see Tess Warren on the poster, put down your money. You will not regret it. She's fantastic. Yeah, I can't. I'll sit here and gush about Tess for the next hour. So you guys make sure to go show her some love and support her. Please, when you're done supporting her and hitting follow on Instagram or whatever it may be, head over to TikTok, Instagram, like our page, subscribe, comment. You know all the shit. I don't have to tell you. But most importantly, guys, don't forget at the end of the day to call your mom.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.